Mr. Chair, Alan Lee from South Carolina. All throughout Kona, I've heard all con speakers say that it is not the right time to do anything because the economy is bad and terrible. What if Kona happened when the economy was good? What then? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to step up and make a change. We need to set an example for other countries that we Americans are capable of doing, that are capable of protecting our environment and making money at the same time. Now, I'd like to go back and go over the climate here's points. They say that the businesses will be moved out because of the pressure of the green tax. However, I'd like to remind you that in line 26 of the proposal, it states tax may increase or decrease based on the behaviors of the factories after taxes are collected. This tax is bendable, it's flexible, it's not strict, constant taxes it's not to punish these companies, but rather pressure them a little bit to change their behavior. It's not a big shove, but a gentle push, a little light pressure on them. And if they behave well and reduce their pollution rate, the tax will go down. And by that, the companies are more likely to stay here in America and create more jobs and increase the GDP for us, which means a better economy. Who doesn't want that? And also, blue skies do matter. Blue skies do matter, and even for economy. Most people in America, around the globe come to America and move for our national parks too. Our national parks might be gone because our environments are able to support it. We want to have blue skies. We don't want to have red and yellow skies. Now, I love this country, and I'm sure you do too. And it's not just because it's 4th of July, but we love this country because it's amazing. And I love the beauty of this Blue Ridge Assembly. I want our future generations to sit in the Lee Hall and be able to look out at the horizon and actually be able to see the beautiful mountains that surround us. So if you want future generations.
Thank you, delegate. Your time is elapsed.
Thank you.
Like the Michigan delegation, I reserve my right to the remainder of my time to the delegate.
You have that right.
I understand the potential behind this about helping our environment. My problem is that it is a tax and that companies are founded to make a profit. So if a company can make more money by going to another country, not being taxed for polluting the air, why would they not just leave and just do that to save money and make more? Because then they'd be able to make more money and they'd be able to succeed. And that's what they were founded for. So with that, I yield the rest of the time to Amanda Johnson.
90 seconds.
Amanda Johnson, Michigan delegation. Will the author please yield to a possible series of questions?
Does the author yield?
Why is it necessary to implement this proposal since cap and trade already exists and will remain in place?
Although it exists, we can obviously see that based on the pollution rates, it's not working. So we need something better to maybe replace it or maybe be in addition to it.
Alright, based on what the author says, yes, cap and trade may not be exactly doing its job, but that's because it hasn't existed for long enough. Previous delegates continue to bring up the beautiful blue sky. Well, yes, this proposal will secure that beautiful blue sky. This isn't necessarily just about the beautiful blue sky. As the previous delegate said, this is about the companies prospering. And that's what we should be focused on. We should be focusing on the economy and our economy prospering. And with that, I yield my time to the chair. Thank you.
Delegate yields her time to the chair.
I'm Nate from the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I reserve the right to yield my remaining time to the delegate beside me.
You have that right.
Mr. Chair.
Delegate, please.
Alright, so driving down the highway, I would see these little pipes with my mom, and out them would come these smokestacks. And I asked my mom, "What is this, Mom?" And she said, "My dear, those are cloud makers." Well, my friends, those are not cloud makers like I once thought when I was younger. I strongly urge you to vote for this proposal for 2 reasons. For one, this tax will encourage factories to produce less pollution, rewarding them even with a tax break for pollution decrease. My second point is an obvious one. By adding these taxes and guiding companies to lessen pollution, our environment will benefit greatly. These chemicals tear apart at our ozone layer and dirty the air that we breathe. I'm tired of driving down the highway and staring up at the electronic signs saying that our air quality is poor today. Our economy will strengthen, factories will eventually benefit, and the environment will get a break from our constant addition of harmful chemicals into the atmosphere. Thank you, and I reserve the right to yield my time to the delegate from Kentucky.
60 seconds.
Amelia Call, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Sir Chair. I would just like to have you imagine driving down the road and you see the beautiful blue skies. Imagine sitting on the porch of Lee Hall and looking out at the mountains and seeing the beautiful blue sky above you. And then now imagine your children not being able to see these blue skies. They will be gray and it will not be as beautiful as it is now. And a previous delegate stated that we wouldn't have as much money coming in, or they were worried about how much money would come, but it's not about the money. It's about having a better environment for our next generations. Thank you, and I now yield my time to the chair.
The delegate yields her time to the chair. The chair seeks to recognize.
Bertelsmann from Missouri. I would like to reserve my right to yield my extra remaining time to Baker from Florida.
You have that right.
I would just like to bring to everyone's attention the jobs that could be lost within this, even though jobs are being created within the EPA, mainly through all of the places where fossil fuels come from. Like personally, my father is a coal miner. Coal mining is not large in Missouri, but he works over in Illinois, and I know that it's fairly large in mountainous areas. And I would just like to point out all the people who could be losing their jobs through this, and they wouldn't qualify for these jobs the EPA is creating. I yield my time to Baker.
The delegate yields 83 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, fellow delegate. I was brought up on the philosophy that...
Sorry, delegate, but you failed to state your name and delegation. You have that right.
I was wishing to pass this proposal because it is holding businesses responsible for what they put out into the world. We cannot just sit idly by and watch corporations pollute our air. And with that, I would like to yield the remainder of my time to Mr. Perry.
Delegate yields 90 seconds.
I've never done anything to harm my
I'm
lungs.
sorry, Mr. Perry, you failed to state your name and delegation.
Volunteer state. May I reserve the right to yield my remaining time to fellow delegate Gibson.
You have that right.
May I also ask a possible series of questions?
All of you yield.
Okay. How many factories are there in large cities in America? How many factories highly pollute the air in the U.S.?
Too many.
Do you even know the exact number of factories that will be affected by this proposal?
First off, with the beginning part, only the big cities will be affected, so I don't have the exact numbers I can give you. However, as this proposal will be put into action, there will be as it gains popularity, it will move on to cities, a little smaller cities.
Okay, so if you don't know the exact amount of factories that will be affected by this proposal, you don't know how much money will be brought in by this proposal to you?
Actually, I do.
How much would that be?
Okay, let me give you an example. Already by our environmental protected taxes, we bring about 2.9% of the GDP increase already. So that proves that with the help of this green tax, we're bringing enough revenue to provide enough jobs for the EPA protection.
But because you do not know the exact amount of factories that will be affected by this proposal, you can't give an exact number.
I apologize for not having the facts, but I'm sure that the EPA has enough facts for it to use for its own use.
Thank you. I yield my time to Gibson.
25 seconds.
Gibson, Republic of Texas. I stand in opposition to this proposal. If it was implemented, it would result in mammoth green taxation and send millions of American jobs overseas. The green tax would simply be passed on to the consumers of energy, all Americans and American businesses. If we taxed it at the same tax rate as the UK, it would total a whopping 260
Thank you,
billion.
delegate. Your time has elapsed. The chair now seeks to
Reserve my right to the remaining time, Delegate Adams.
You have that right.
Thank you. All right, so picture this. You're going to California for the first time. You're driving up the freeway. You're going to go to LA. You're going to see Hollywood, all this fun stuff. You get up over the hill, look into the Los Angeles basin, and there's a cloud. But it's not a white cloud like you'd see here. This cloud is kind of the color of wheat coffee. And you go down into Los Angeles, you don't see it anymore, because it's on top of you. And you're standing there, you're breathing it in all the time. That's what this proposal seeks to undo. Now, much as it pains me to bring up the British on the 4th of July, I do feel like it's necessary because in the 1950s, the British got a wake-up call environmentally. Their pollution got so bad, it was literally killing people. It was mixing with the clouds and killing people inside the city of London. That's what this proposal seeks to undo. That's what this proposal seeks to fix, and I believe it does an excellent job. And now I'd like to yield any remaining time to Adams.
80 seconds.
Thank you, Sir Chair. My name is Haley Adams from California Delegation. So, let's say I'm stepping off a plane at LAX in my jeans and a cardigan. I see through the windows a beautiful California sunshine. Then, the automatic doors swoosh open, I step outside, I take a deep breath of air, and I begin to cough up my lungs. Now, a previous con speaker proclaimed that we don't have time for the environment while our economy flounders. But call me a crazy California tree hugger who's watched too many videos of polar bears floating away on chunks of broken icebergs, but we cannot afford to wait to address our environmental disasters. This is our world we're talking about. We need to leave it in a better place for our children. The economy will recover. Our environment will not. And with that, I yield my time to the chair.
Delegate yields her time. The floor is now open for amendments and pro-con intent speech.
Thank you, Sir Chair. I also would like to yield time to Delegate Chow.
That is your right.
Ladies and gentlemen, while I fully recognize the importance of protecting our environment, a punitive tax on emissions is not the way, at least at this point, to go about doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. is losing manufacturing jobs at an alarming and unsustainable rate. And by imposing the green tax, we will only encourage offshoring. The author mentioned corporations like Boeing, Airbus, and BMW that are moving operations to the United States. But let me remind you that these corporations are moving here from Europe, which have far higher and more stringent standards than we do. By implementing a green tax, we will encourage offshoring to the worst countries where there are no regulations whatsoever. And this will come back to haunt us. Ladies and gentlemen, if we encourage corporations to move to countries where they can pollute and destroy the environment with no repercussions whatsoever, we are encouraging damage to the environment somewhere else. And if we do this, we will eventually blacken our own skies. I yield my remaining time to Delegate Chow.
44 seconds.
Casey Chow, New Jersey delegation. Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry, Delegate, you're out of order. You have failed to display your placard. The chair now seeks the next pro speaker.
In North Carolina, I'd like to reserve the right to yield the minimum country office.
Sorry, author. Yielding on intent speeches is not in order.
Thank you. So I will start off by describing some of the harmful chemicals that are currently found in our environment. Ammonia, spread by the evaporation of liquid manure in the form of ammonium nitrates and ammonium sulfates, leads to cultural eutrophication and the depletion of quality of life with bodies of water. On the human side of things, exposure is extremely lethal. Lead, exposed through mining and smelting runoff, evaporated into the atmosphere, causes mental retardation and is permanently stored in your body for the rest of your life. Hydrogen sulfide, produced by the burning of low-grade coal, causes respiratory issues and lung cancer. Methane, half is caused by anthropogenic sources, causes lung irritation, asphyxiation, and could prove lethal, also known for much climate change. Mercury, caused by the burning of low-grade coal, leads to many different forms of cancer. Now, the story of Love Canal, our nation's worst environmental disaster. William Love planned on building the perfect town on the outside of Niagara Falls. After years, Love's ideas were squashed and the huge canal that he had built remained there untouched. After a while, the company, Hooker Chemical and Plastics, bought the Love Canal and dumped 22,000 tons of chemical waste. After the Love Canal was filled, Hooker Chemical sold the land to Niagara Falls, and homes and schools were built on the land. As an immediate result, people living on Love Canal suffered from toxic burns, but nothing was done. Then, in 1976, record death rates were seen in this town. Stillborn rates, miscarriages, birth defects, and cancer dramatically rose. 400 types of harmful chemicals were found in this air. These chemicals included, but were not limited to, ammonia, lead, hydrogen sulfide, and mercury, chemicals that are currently hugely prevalent in our environment. In 1978...
I'm sorry, Delegate, but your time has elapsed. The floor is now open for con-pro debate.
Mr. Chair, my name is Harrison Goldberg, and I am from Florida. This proposal, although valiant and goodwill in spirit, is not in the best interests of our country for a number of reasons. Thanks to the Environmental Protection Agency and current legislation, our environment is on the road to recovery. However, the economy of America is not. Under the provisions of the Cap and Trade environmental policy, a company is allotted a certain number of credits as per the tonnage of hazardous chemicals they can release before being reprimanded. These tonnages are set by the Environmental Protection Agency and are considered acceptable by the Environmental Protection Agency's standards. This program has been wildly successful in cut down on nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and sulfuric acid emissions, and due to these cut downs, acid rain has nearly ceased in New England, saving the beautiful forests of both Maine and Massachusetts. This policy did this while keeping American jobs and at the same time rewarding green companies as they rightfully should be rewarded. Similarly, the Montreal Protocol has cut down internationally on the use of chlorofluorocarbons and has put the ozone layer on the fastest track to recovery possible by putting stratospheric ozone depletion at the lowest rate of depletion since the Great Depression. The proposal now being presented, however, is very similar to the Kyoto Protocol, which was presented to the President George W. Bush. The pro side may argue that he did not sign this protocol because he was a fiscally conservative president. However, President Barack Obama similarly refused to sign this because he was acting in the best interests of the USA. Under the provisions of this protocol, industry would be stymied and America will not be able to keep up with foreign competitors. Very simply, my point is this. I am, as a responsible American citizen, all for environmental protection. However, the cap and trade system addresses this issue in the best possible way. And if this proposal is enacted, this important cap and trade system will be thrown out the window. And the American economy will be crippled and pushed further into recession. I yield my time to the chair.
Delegate yields his time to the chair.
Are any taxes like this currently being used in the United States?
The only form of taxes such as this will be in like gasoline, and it's more of a fine rather than.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Thank you, Sir Chair. My name is Kylie Work. I am from Florida. Other than the cities that you mentioned, what are some other cities that are high on this?
San Jose, New York City.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Amanda Johnson, Michigan delegation. Will this proposal replace the current cap and trade system we have in place?
No, it'll be.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Chris Jordan, Arizona delegation. Will this cover CO2 or other greenhouse gases?
It'll be any pollution that the EPA thinks it's significant.
Thank you.
Brian, North Carolina. Thank you, Chair. My question has been answered.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you, Theo Spears, North Carolina. Of the countries listed, France, UK, and Australia, what are the combined corporate income tax rates of those three countries?
I do not know the corporate tax.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Campbell Harris from Georgia delegation. Will solid, liquid, and gaseous pollution, types of pollutions all be calculated using the same measurements, or will it be different? Will they all be taxed based on the same scale, or will they be calculated differently and taxed appropriately?
So based on the business size and the necessity to pollute, because there has to be a minimum pollution rate. Based on that ratio, they will be taxed.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Peterson, Republic of Texas. Do you have any statistics as to how many tons of pollution are released by energy companies in, say, a year?
Yes, I said that 3 million tons of toxins are released by factories.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nita, Minnesota. How does the air quality in the U.S. compare with other countries?
We are one of the, we're not like the bottom, but we are pretty up high in the...
Thank you. Further non-debatable technical questions on the floor at this time. Hannock, Rains, Donabedian, Bolin, Gudger, Snyder, Hambrick, Sumner, Barberis, Monaco.
Kate Hannock, Missouri delegation. What specific health problems does air pollution pose on the general public?
Okay, just diseases like bronchitis and asthma can be affected.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Samantha Sumner, Virginia Commonwealth. I was curious, do you have any statistics on how many premature deaths are caused by air pollution?
No, actually.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Andrew Rains, Commonwealth of Virginia. Would your proposal also include carbon emissions as a pollution?
Like I said, the EPA will set those. We'll name those pollutions or gases that could be polluted.
Thank you, author.
Hamburg, Wisconsin delegation. Do you have any statistics about how many tons have been saved due to similar taxes in other countries?
How many U.S. has? How many?
Do you have any statistics on how many tons of the pollution has been saved due to other taxes in other countries similar to this one?
I can't give you that.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Commonwealth of Virginia, how much estimated revenue does this plan on bringing?
For example, England has about 7% of their tax revenue is based on this.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Thank you, Secretary Rebecca Ball in New York. In what ways do you expect factories to change in order to produce cleaner air?
I believe that they can set new technologies to filter out the pollution.
Thank you, Robert.
Gudger, this is delegation. It talks about hiring regulators in line 35 to 36. Would there be a class or course that they have to take in order to qualify for this?
Sure, but that will be up to EPA. Danny Donovan in Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Do you feel that companies, industries will have to pay this green tax, will raise their prices to keep up with profit? No, I don't believe that.
Babiscan from South Carolina. Governor, will this green tax mirror other international attempts?
Sure. That's debatable. Total time for non-debatable technical questions has now elapsed.
Thank you. I'll leave from South Carolina. Oh no! No, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't trying to dodge a dart from the crowd, but rather I was trying to imagine, trying to breathe in Pittsburgh. Cities such as Pittsburgh and Los Angeles are well known for their polluted air, so living in those cities can damage our lungs like sunburn. 3 million taxes are released by factories annually, and we breathe about 2,880 gallons of air each day. So imagine how many pollution we breathe daily. Fortunately, this killer pollution can be reduced. The solution is green tax. It is a proven profit as the United Kingdom, France, and Australia use it. Green tax will be set by IRS and the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. This tax will pay for the EPA workers and new eco-friendly projects. Some of the concerns about the green tax is that it may drive businesses out of the country. But this is not true. As U.S. has smaller regulations, companies compared to China, so more businesses are incentivized to move back to the U.S. or just welcome to the U.S. Also, businesses such as BMW, Kia, Nissan, and Airbus are bringing in billions of dollars in jobs to the U.S. each and every year. Everything needs a first step. Everything needs a first push and a first start. And green tax is just right. We cannot wait around for the economy to get better, ladies and gentlemen. The U.S. needs to prove to other countries that we are capable of balancing economy and environmental protection actions at the same time. Thank you.
All right, it's actions to the